Let's bloody dip it.
We'll do it live! Fuck it! Do it live!
Welcome to the Drago Ivan Podcast, episode 3. This is just going to be an overall how I'm doing stand-up comedy. I'll add some footage of that, of me doing that. Then we got a bit of the clap, just like the last girl I hooked up with. I'm there walking to the milk bar to go get smokes as a cop car slowly slows down, rolls down the window, and they must have been starstruck because they're like, Drago, is that you? I'm like, yeah, that's me. And you know how I knew they were starstruck? They asked for ID. And they must have been ultimately starstruck because I went back with them, we did a podcast. I know I'm a bit delayed on this, and it's only because of the fact that I was a bit on the grumps. And when you're such a positive person, the minute you show any grumpiness, someone's like, they're on drugs. They full like envision you to be that person that knocks on their door at 2 a.m. You know, we all have that person, you know?
Hey man, big dog, I need you, big dog boy.
So, before we even start with the episode, if this is the first episode you're watching, my legit first name is Drago, legit middle name is Ivan. I don't use the last name because of warrants. That's a joke I use because I live in the western suburbs of Melbourne. It's a bit chaotic. I do stand-up comedy, and this is a podcast of me just speaking shit, adding a bit of meme videos, and I'll make it short enough to digest it because it's not about length sometimes. It's about the quality. Anyway, bottoms up. Happy Saturday to all of you, or if you watch this on a Sunday, or if you watch this on a Monday and you're drinking a beer. There's no judgment, alright? Oh, before we start any further, a bit of a catch up. I ended up getting the colour done by the tattooist, so that's all done. When the red jugs were happening, I felt that. I fucking felt that. So what we're going to make this episode majority about, I'm just purely excited. You can see with my excitement levels why it's out of the wazoo, is purely because of the fact that this Thursday, May 23rd, we are heading back to the Golden Vine Hotel in Bendigo for Laughs in a Ghetto Presents Good as Gold 5.
Good as fucking gold in Bendigo.
What a mouthful, alright? But you know what? It's quality. It's quality. I love the venue. The running shows there is spectacular. Hopefully it's better with the Airbnb this time and there's no wasps somehow in the Airbnb. That's a whole different story. Watch the first episode for that. My craziness within the past month or so of trying to make sure every aspect is perfect and looking at it from not just a comedy promoter vision perspective, as you would say. I look at it from any form of entertainment. Alright, if you were to be given a poster upon entry, that's always good. Merch, that's a fantastic idea. And guess what I did? I made Laughs in a Ghetto merch purely to take up to Bendigo, but I'm happy to say I have fuck all left. I'll probably have to beep that. You know what? No, I'll be genuine. I legit have fuck all. Alright? Don't demonetize me. I need money. I do stand-up comedy.
I need it more than anything that you can ever imagine.
But I made a whole bunch of beanies, a whole bunch of shirts. I didn't make them. A wonderful person made them. So Mading Jock, that stand-up comedian, his sister, Tabitha, we're going to Ibiza. What? Oh, she makes great merch. That should be like her song going on, and I should never fucking sing again. It's awesome the response that I had because the minute I made it within, I would say 72 hours, not even, I had a lot sold. 10 beanies, gone out the door. See you later. Lighters, see you gone. Shirts, ranging from small to double XL. Yeah, I had 2 of each, and guess what? Now I have 1 of the double XL. Within a span of 3 days. And I'm like, okay, I didn't expect it to kick off that well. And after the Ghetto Gauntlet, a lot of the people there are like, I need a fucking shirt. That was a sick night. Why? Because he got drunk?
Hey!
But ever since running even that Ghetto Gauntlet, the post aftermath from that has been fantastic. I got given the opportunity again, bestowed the opportunity again, to run another one purely because of the fact I didn't even plan for this to happen anytime soon. My roommate, Manuel, that you would have seen from the footage from the Ghetto Gauntlet, hopefully, if you haven't, you will see him. Former stepbrother, there's a lot of context to that, but okay. His mum and my dad were married. Guess what? We weren't blood related or anything, and when they split, Manuel kind of stayed with me. So former stepbrothers, now into roommates, but now he's a pain in the ass.
Yeah, housemate, formerly stepbrothers, so that was actually...
You guys, what do you mean, formerly stepbrothers?
So yeah, June 8th is the second Ghetto Gauntlet, and that's only happening because I go to Manuel, hey, what do you want for your birthday? He's like, I don't know, like a shindig, like that comedy show. I'm like, you want a comedy show for your birthday? Done. And my promoter instinct kicked in, and I didn't even realize, man, I'm booking 4 shows at once and organizing a 5th, which is in August. But this soccer club has been a pain in the rectum. Do you know when you're waiting for an email? Like waiting bad for an email.
I need you bad, man.
Anyway, the main part of this is I'm so excited for Bendigo coming up this Thursday for Laughs in the Ghetto Presents Good as Gold 5 at the Golden Vine Hotel. It starts at 8:45. We're going to have giveaways. I still have show bags left. I'm loading them up with vouchers and a whole bunch of stuff because I want to give back to the community if they want to spend their hard-earned dollar to watch us perform, because you didn't need to spend money to come see us. You did that out of your goodwill. Now, let me give something back. That's what I like to do. But Good as Gold 5 coming up. We have great comics, and it's going to be one of the comics' birthdays straight after. I'm not going to mention every comic on the bill because like I said the last time, guess what happens? If I forget one, seem like a criminal. So I'll put up footage of them, yeah, all the names, and I won't forget. Add their promos and all that wonderful jazz. It'll be fantastic.
Hello, people of Bendigo. My name is Tony Knight.
Hello, my name is Rio Amano. I'm a stand-up comedian from Japan.
Hello, I'm Freddie Arthur. I'm a stand-up comedian.
Cam Muratori, I'm forklift certified, and I'll be performing stand-up comedy at the Golden Vine Hotel for Laughs in the Ghetto on May 23rd. See you there.
Hello, I'm relatively unknown stand-up comedian Lily Geddes.
Well, hello everyone, this is Maz Matter. I will be at the Golden Vine Hotel on the 23rd of May in Bendigo.
Hi, I'm stand-up comedian Chelsea Heaney.
Hello everyone, my name is Harun Helmi. Again, my ding jock, you know.
Alright, you're probably thinking, enough of Bendigo. I'm not booked on it. I don't want to hear about it. How did you start stand-up comedy? See, I'm asking myself questions and I'm answering myself. This is the definition of lunacy, people.
Time for Teletubbies.
And head tattoos. Fucking lock me up. How I started my stand-up comedy, or how I even fell in love with stand-up comedy in the first place, I was watching a lot of Don Rickles' old stuff when I was young, because ethnic grandparents, they loved that anti-PC stuff, but they also loved Carl Barron, and I'm like, wait, there was an Australian version? And so from an early age, I used to watch that, but never thought of it too much until I have met my 2 great friends, Jesse and Corinne. But Jesse, he's a great bloke. Corinne, great woman. All right. And they introduced me to this wonderful place in North Melbourne, in Errol Street, called the Comics Lounge. So I started going to the Comics Lounge at an early age just to watch the comedy there. And that's how I ended up seeing some of the great acts that I get to know now doing stand-up comedy, which is absolutely fucking berserk. I remember watching Doug Chappell. I remember watching John Burgos. I remember watching Justin Fleming when he was performing there. I remember seeing Pommy Johnson. I remember seeing some, like, man, I don't want to beef up other names, but they've... Man, I remember when Richard Marx was there and he was selling key rings and all that stuff. I've got photos of it. And then when you go into the comedy world, it's just a different world altogether. You're like, wait, you're human as well? Nah, can't be. But how I started stand-up comedy out of that was just out of the blue. I thought, all right, I went through a nasty breakup and I'm like, fuck it, I'm going to do what I like. And this was around 2021. I'm like, legitimately, this was after a car crash I had where I was stationary and a person from doing 80 kilometers hit me from behind when I was going on a freeway. So that was a year or so of physiotherapy while being in a relationship. And then after all of that had ended, I was left with nothing. not a job, not a car, not a partner, but I had a focus and determination of loving that situation, just because of the fact when you hit rock bottom, you find out what you need and not what you want. And what you need is passion again, and your own determination to whatever brings you passion. Yeah. And what I always liked was making people laugh and smile. So I thought, you know what? Stand-up comedy might be a chance. Let's give this a go. But I didn't think that you could do all these open mics and all that, because I never did any research. And I went straight head first into, let me book my own bloody comedy show and put myself up on the bill with all of these great acts, spend a massive amount of money, and Lord Jesus Christ did it. It worked out in a way where you never lose, you only learn. But man, was it a pain to work out of that situation. I couldn't be more thankful for the experience out of that, getting that stage time, at least getting laughs, selling over 200 tickets for my first ever show at a club. I'm probably not going to mention their name and that, because there's a lot of backlash from that part. But you know what? I'm going to be brutally honest. It was in Sunshine. I had great acts on there. I'm not going to mention their names because I'll put the poster up. I won't mention their names because I don't want to beef up anything. So you can have your own perspective. You can ask them. Everyone has their own story out of it. But this is from my perspective. After that show, it took me probably a couple months to financially recover out of that. And that was my own doing. And then again, I was left in a position where I was blaming everyone else except myself. You know those times where you're like, nah, couldn't have been me. That ain't those fucking Tim Tams. But even it got to the point where I decided, you know what? I'm going to find the car that I drive, my Ford 2001 Laser at that time. Yeah, wasn't a good car to drive, and it was graffitied up because guess what? At the show that I did, my first ever one, I set up a booth where people pay to spray paint my car, which I was meant to get a van, but it was my legit car, and no one paid because my mate wasn't there. And so I was driving a spray painted car around, but what made it better was I was fucking living in it. And that was like a couple months of mayhem. But then again, I was put in a position where I felt like I thrived, where I hit that rock bottom again, and I needed to find out what I needed and not what I wanted. Because the first time I went for that first show, that was all what I wanted to do. Now, what did I need to do? I needed to go through that open mic circuit. I needed to build up my name. I needed to do all of this and build up a reputation instead of just coming out of the wazoo and blowing up my own smoke. Blowing up my own ass. I don't know the catchphrase. I'm half a beer down on the bluey. I fucking blew that one. Bluey. I don't mind being completely honest, brutally honest to a camera, because it feels as if it's going to be a weight off my shoulder just talking to a camera, even if no one sees this, because I still hold a bit of fucking shit from it. But I don't feel as if it's a negative thing for me to hold on to that, even though I've overcome it, paid a massive amount, got out of that homeless situation, ended up rebuilding myself up to a point through the open mics. I've got some handshakes going, maybe even some high fives, and now running a show in Bendigo that happens every 2 months. It just seems incredible, like how that period of time. But what was interesting was just the ways these little milestones happened out of it, and I didn't even jerry what was happening out of it, because out of me living in my car, I know I sound like I'm all over the place, but I'll get back to the part of the car and how I was living in it. I was living in my car because I was working a job in retail, and the job, I completely lost it. I couldn't pay for my phone bill or anything, so I legit walked out on the job, whilst on shift, and it was a mobile plan salesperson. It wasn't anything fucking special. It fucking supposedly it was internet that flies, you know. Now I said that, and they're gonna fucking trademark me.
To report a crime, an international war crime, right?
But anyway, so straight across the road, that wonderful Macca's. Guess where that Ford Laser was parked with makeshift curtains for a couple months, and then you know what? I'm like, I got a random call out of the blue from my mate Josh, and it's like, hey, what are you doing? I'm like, oh, just chilling. So do you want to come past? I'm like, yeah, too easy. I rocked up to his house, and at that point, I tried going to the car wash, so with high pressure, so you couldn't really see graffiti, but I still had to get terps to get the spray paint off, but it kind of fucked up all the colour. I didn't care. Everything was taken off. It looked like, hey, I'm doing half well. Managed to somewhat spray myself to the shit ton, so it seemed like I had a shower. Go over to his place. I'm like, yeah, bro. And I was just brutally honest. I'm like, yeah, so this is what happened. I worked my way up. I'm planning to work my way up and all this stuff. And I'm like, I'm going to bounce anyway. And it's for his dad to be like, no, you're not fucking going anywhere, because he was jeering what was going on. And he's like, you're fucking staying here until you're on your feet. And I'm like, no, I was refusing it from the start. But then he's like, no, you're staying here until you're on your feet. And at that time, I wasn't in the best mind state, so I didn't want to accept the help, but I knew it was what was needed, so stayed there. And I couldn't stay there for long, because I don't like it, getting that handout where it doesn't feel like I'm working for it, as bad as it sounds. I love my mate for it. I love his dad for it. Yeah, his dad didn't touch me, don't get that wrong idea. I got off the couch and ended up going up to the country, staying up in the country for a little bit to take care of my dad, because he called me saying he wasn't doing well, because this was around COVID time. He wasn't doing well because of his COVID injection. All during this time, I wasn't doing any comedy. I was just avoiding it after that gig that I ran straight myself into the ground and just made myself look like an idiot. I needed to dip, as bad as it sounds, pun intended, of the show, episode 3. Let's go! But moving on from there, then I got through to working a job at a COVID vaccination place. So that was an income, and I had a roof over my head. I had a purpose. I was taking care of someone that took care of me for a very short period of my life. But still, I felt as if I needed to give back in some sort. And the minute I ended up getting a decent job, which is at the gold mine where I work. This is an accommodation. I don't live here. Don't worry about the black scratches. I don't know what they are. I swear that room's haunted. Ended up working at the gold mine now for like nearly coming up to 3 years. But the great thing out of that was, when I was working at the gold mine, I ended up getting enough money to move back down to Melbourne and rent a place. And that's where I got back into comedy and ran my own shows again. But I got into the semi-pro scene, and through lots of help from Mimi, I'm not going to mention the full name, through lots of help through Mimi, ended up getting some good comics, put on a couple shows. They gave me a whole bunch of advice, added me to the Melbourne comedy scene hub, ended up doing gigs for all of there, and actually did the circuit proper. And now I think I'm coming up to 2 years on a circuit of actually doing open mics, going to these gigs where you get booked there instead of booking my own. And I'm loving every part of it, because you learn everything. And you try to keep humble in every situation, because in every workplace, every form of entertainment, there's going to be groups, selfishness, and you know what? You have to have that, because it's a business.
Threats are part of wrestling, you know, but you got to look at the person that's making the threat.
And if you want to, sounds so cheesy to fucking say, but if you want to make it in some sort, there has to be some level of selflessness to you, and I don't fucking have that, because I feel as if it's being beaten out of me so hard that I just needed to just be myself and genuine, because if you're just yourself and genuine all the time, and even if you confront situations or say things that you can back up, yeah, people might have this negative perspective of you, but you know what? You're just saying what you know is true, because you've been put in fucking shit situations and you can't go further than what you were in the past. So I've got nothing left to lose. I've got everything to actually gain and to prove. Man, I went on it was like a wrestling promo then. So that being said, that's how I started comedy. And just by the way, my second ever gig, my third ever gig was the one I ran. My second ever gig, I opened up for Johnny Katz, George Capinaris, and what's the crack addict's name with the guitar? I was chucked into the deep end straight away, and you know what? I'm loving every moment of how I'm swimming now in a nice, I'd say, supple bitty height of water. I plan to go further and dip my head in further and seeing how crazy life can go, but I think that's too long of an episode at this point, and it's just been rambles and a whole bunch of shit I just needed to get off my shoulders. And I hope you liked the episode. Give it a like, give it a fucking subscribe. It's completely free if you want to do that. If you want to unsubscribe, I don't blame you after that rambling, but guess what? I love you all. I want to thank the 20 subscribers I have. Unbelievable. I didn't even think people were going to watch the videos I had before. And when I saw one of my videos have 111 views. So you can tell everybody. Yeah, you can tell everybody. But at least 10 replays from me, at least. No, it's been incredible. I plan to do one every fortnight when I'm up on my work week, because I can't do gigs at this time. Hopefully this gave you a bit more insight to me just being genuine. Got a head tattoo. Follow me on social media. Real Drago Ivan on Instagram. At Drago Ivan Comedy on TikToks. And Drago Ivan, subscribe, yeah? On the YouTube. Dippets.